Donald Trump has vowed to permanently pause all migration from what he called third world countries. This comes after one of the two National Guard soldiers allegedly shot by an Afghan national on Wednesday died of her injuries. The suspect had entered the country legally in 2021 after working with the US government, including the CIA in Afghanistan. The president says he also plans to end federal benefits and subsidies for non-citizens. Well, let's talk now to the international economist and business consultant, Vicky Pryce. Good to see you as always, Vicky. So this idea from Donald Trump suggests preventing certain people coming to the US and possibly looking again at the status of some people who are already settled there. What effect might that have on economic growth and US GDP?
Well, it depends, of course, what sort of numbers we're talking about. But it has also to be looked at in relation to everything else that's going on in the attempts, of course, to reduce the number of people who are in the US, either illegally or those that President Trump seems to think shouldn't have been there in the first place anyway. So there is an issue of size, but there is no doubt that if you do try and reduce immigration, it does affect particular areas of the economy. We've seen that already happen in agriculture in the US, but also it affects construction, hospitality sectors. So there could be shortages in a number of areas, and also, of course, from some of those third world countries, if you want to call them that, there are quite a lot of skilled workers coming in normally, which help increase the skill level in the US.
Vicky, I'm going to ask you to pause because I can see you need to have a sip of water, so please do that. And I want to ask you a little bit more about the job market, so I'll bear with you until you're ready. I can see you're taking little glugs, so please do go for it. I mean, obviously, the job market is one area that will be affected. We could see perhaps more jobs being available, but perhaps in roles that wouldn't necessarily be easily filled, that are currently being filled by those people who are immigrants to the US.
That's absolutely right, and thank you for being so kind about this, about the fact that my voice suddenly went. We had a budget here in the UK, and of course I've been talking non-stop. So yes, one of the things is, of course, the reduced labour supply in a number of areas, so shortages will emerge. The question is, what does that do to wages or to anyone who's there, and of course the cost of businesses? And that is one of the important aspects in lowering immigration anyway. So, I mean, it is true that there will be some increase in the wages of the people who are there. So if there are fewer of them and you still need to produce a certain amount of product, then their wages could be going up. But of course, that is a problem for the firms that are employing them or for the sectors that are employing them. And some of the skills that will be missed as well are going to affect productivity in the economy. So the overall estimate is that we're going to have perhaps higher inflation as a result, and also, of course, lower growth. So for this particular policy, the latest one that has been introduced, it depends how long it lasts, whether then, you know, there are other changes that happen to fill some of the posts that perhaps will not be filled if that immigration is reduced. So is there going to be availability from somewhere else? So you can't just do a sort of if A, then B, then C in economics and just run a line and assume that this is what's going to happen, because there could be all sorts of other things that happen as a result to offset some of those costs to businesses that will happen that way. So there is no doubt an issue there. And the other thing is, of course, you know, if you are continuing with the policy that we've got there now, it's the sort of fiscal cost, how exactly you manage it. Obviously, you need more sort of support to ensure that some of the people do not enter that would otherwise have done. So you're also looking at what you do about revoking some of the visas. So this isn't just a very simple thing that can be done. It does require some extra spending to get there, but actually it can be negative for the economy as a whole.
Vicky, thank you so much for coming on the programme and battling on. It was great to speak to you as always. That's the international economist, Vicky Pryce.